Don't move. Turn your fantasy football into reality. Here's CJ.
Welcome back to the Dirty Landry Report. I'm CJ. Nice to have you back. I hope that your fantasy world has been good to you so far. We're headed into week 5. We're at the quarter pole. How you doing anyway? A lot of my teams are not doing as well as I thought. I was having a discussion with a friend of mine today, Goose, and he's got a team that's 0-4, the same as I do, and both of us just look at each other like, how did that happen? I don't know, but this does happen. You got to remember this time of year, though, the veterans, it takes them a while to get going, and the sort of the trend over the last few years with veterans has been not to use them in the preseason. So this is almost like the preseason just ended for a lot of these guys. So guys like Dallas Goedert is a good example. Like that guy there is a tremendous tight end, and he's going to be very fantasy relevant as the season goes on. But the first 4 games, so people are ditching him or trading him. I think he's a good guy to grab. You should, if you're trading him, you should be able to get a young running back, a wide receiver, and a nice draft pick for him. Otherwise, why would you get rid of him? He's going to be good by the end of the season. So those are the guys you want to keep on your team. Those are the guys. Sometimes you look at waivers and you want to replace somebody, you want to do something, but sometimes the best is patience. So there's 4 choices you have right now. 1, patience. That's the boring one, right? Because you want to do something, but your guys are so good, how come they're not doing so well? Well, that just happens, right? Panic. Where's that button? That's your second choice. Panic. So, and then there's the one I like, which is just make a few small adjustments. Trust yourself. You spent all summer putting your team together, and now you've got your team, and it's not doing very well. That's okay. It's not like you're 0-8. We'll talk about panic, But a few small, smart adjustments can make a big difference. See? Just little stuff. Or D, give up fantasy football forever. I don't like this anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to take up something that's way less frustrating, like golf or marriage counseling or something along those lines. But I don't know. Here's a list of some guys that I just was poking around this morning, and I just figured, well, who can I find? Well, it's a lot of people giving up on Chase Claypool, and I think he's got the talent. It's just this part here. And the one thing I liked about, he's likely to leave Chicago, but as of this moment, he's still there. His teammates didn't throw him under the bus. Like his teammates kind of came out in support without saying they supported what he said. So another guy out there, a veteran, Foreman on the same team, he's not being used at all. And he's not happy about that, but he's older, wiser, and didn't say anything, so he's still there. But Foreman's the kind of guy that you want to have on the end of your bench on a deeper league, dynasty especially, because at some point he's going to become very relevant. Him and Goddard, those kind of guys are going to come into their own as the season goes on, right? So you can look for guys like that. And Jamal Williams on the IR, people just forget all about him, but that's a touchdown hog waiting to happen in New Orleans. Kamara with 13 catches last week. 13 catches. Wow. But anyway, some of the other guys that I was looking around at here on the list here, Kyler Murray. He's probably going to come off the IR or pup eligible or whatever it is. Although Josh Dobbs has been doing just fine in Arizona, so why would they make the change? Just leave him on the IR for the rest of the season, get your good draft pick and carry on, or trade him and get some more picks. And that's a good quarterback. Why would you bring him back and ruin your draft position? So I would be leaning towards keeping Josh Dobbs if I had him, or going and getting him and forgetting about Kyler Murray for the rest of this year, because I don't really see the advantage in them using him and playing him. Another guy coming off the list this week is JT, Jonathan Taylor. Now, if you've got Moss and you had the handcuff to Taylor, you're fine. Whether Taylor comes back or not, you still got a good running back, right? But if you've got Moss and you didn't have Taylor, or you had Taylor and didn't have Moss, whatever, you don't have the handcuff there, the Moss owner in that situation isn't going to be very happy with him coming back. Although the bright spot there is that there's still some fences to mend, and time is a healer, right? But if he were to be traded, there's 2 spots I think are perfect for him. One is Dallas. Rico Dowdle is continually having trouble with his hip and hasn't played much. He's been with the team 3 years. We hardly know who he is, but he's very good, but never plays. So if you had Pollard and Taylor in the backfield when they're playing San Francisco, I mean, face it, to get to the Super Bowl, that's where they got to go and win. And San Francisco went out last year and got CMC, so the recipe's already there. The other place is the Chargers. Eckler isn't that healthy. They have a need because Mike Williams is out. So there's cap space, there's a spot for him there, and that's the division where you need every advantage you can get. So I like that idea there. As far as other players, there's a couple of guys in the Chargers like that Kelly and Spiller. Spiller's not on very many teams, and I find that a little bit strange because I think he's very good, and they're very patient with the running backs there. And as you saw last week, he's a pretty good running back. So I've made a little bit of an effort to go and get him where I can cheaply. But I do think that eventually, maybe not this year, but next year, if you're in a dynasty league, that Spiller's a good guy to have on your team. Drew Lock as well. Like Geno Smith hurt his knee last week, and if that doesn't come around, Lock played extremely well. In fact, I was thinking the other day that Lock would be a great guy to go play for the Jets, make the swap. Wilson for Lock, maybe it would be good for both of them, but who knows? I don't know. Aaron Rodgers says he's going to come back. I don't know. I've had that injury. I don't think that's going to happen. Running backs are going to start taking over the league now because it's cold weather. Also with kickers, if you have kickers on your team, try and find a kicker each week that's playing in a dome or in nice weather. You don't want a rookie kicker from the south playing in Chicago or Buffalo, And a place to find some good sleepers, mostly wide receivers, kick return specialists. Find a team that has a very good defense where other teams are punting and kicking a lot. Guys like Ray, DeAndre Carter, as the season goes on and they start getting that 30, 40, 50 yards worth of kick return yardage, if your league gives you credit for that, you get a wide receiver with 20, 30, 40 yards of kick return plus another 20, 30 yards of catches and a couple of catches in PPR, and you've got a 10-point guy on your bench. So that's a good place to find a sleeper for bye weeks. Just saying. Anyway, I've been yakking long enough, and the football game is going to start soon. It's week 5. Woohoo! Like, subscribe, send your questions. Have yourself a fantastic weekend. I'm CJ.